So to answer some of our viewers' questions, I've brought Chad in here and actually traveled to South Dakota, and we're going to answer some of those specific questions that were given to us. So back with Chad, one of the questions was suspension. And so we're looking down at his suspension on the right-hand side of the car. Chad, can you explain the suspension? We can't see really the left side of the car. Can you explain what you got going on here?
So the general rule of thumb is your right rear drives the car into the corner and the left rear drives it out of the corner. So you loosen or stiffen the corner entry by your right rear generally, and you loosen or stiffen the corner exit by your left rear. Either stiffer springs or stiffer shocks, or longer springs or longer shocks, whatever the case is needed. Generally, your right rear spring will be kind of a general spring. It kind of is what it, or shock is what it is, and then you adjust your spring accordingly if you need a little stiffer or a little softer. And your left
Now,
rear,
do you heat it?
no, you change it.
Change it.
Yep, you just loosen the shock, lift the frame up off the rear end, take the spring out, put in whatever your spring change is going to be, and then you lower it back down and then reattach your rear shock.
And this is during the winter season, or do you do this
No, you can do
race
this-
to race?
You can do this at the track. We change shocks and springs at tracks a lot,
Okay.
according to track conditions, if it's wet or dry or whatever.
All right. And then the fuel cell obviously isn't stock.
No, fuel cell is governed by the rules, because we can't run a stock fuel tank because they're just not safe enough. So we have to run a fuel cell with a bladder in it and a tip over valve, so if we roll over, we're not spilling fuel everywhere.
Okay.
And they put a inline filter to keep all the dirt out of the carburetor.
And then the battery obviously was in the front of this car originally.
Yep, that's also by rules to have it back here because it's safer back here. I also run a dry cell because it holds voltage better, and if it breaks, it's not battery acid everywhere.
Okay, so basically the only original parts of this car are the frame,
Most of it, yes. And most of
And-
the body.
the roof,
No, most of the body. The trunk, most of the trunk, the roof, A, B, and C pillars, the front fenders, and what else is there? I think that's about it. Oh, and the lower suspension.
lower suspension, and that's another question that I had from a fan. Okay, talking about front suspension, this chassis is what, Chad?
There's a General Motors, what's called a G-body chassis. Either a Malibu, Monte Carlo, Cutlass, Grand Prix, any one of the G-body cars. We take the frame and add a little cage too.
But we don't actually know which chassis this is. It's just a good running chassis, right?
Right, I don't remember what exactly it came off of.
Okay, and then front suspension is all stock.
No, the lower control arms are stock. We're not allowed to run tubular lowers. Our upper control arms, those we can run tubulars on. We run a racing spring and shock up front. Also, like move rear. And we tune the car with different spring weights and shocks until we get it to where we like it.
Okay, so this steering wheel has an interesting story. Give us a shot, Chad.
Well, this was given to me as a Christmas present by my little sister and some of her friends because they're not cheap, and they knew I wouldn't buy one because they're not cheap because I'm a tight ass. So her and some of her friends collected money together or pooled their money and bought me this for a Christmas present one year, or birthday present, or whatever they called it.
Yeah, and just show them that pulls right off.
Yeah.
You hang it up on the hook up over there.
Yep. Yeah, just splined on.
Yeah. You hang it up.
And I just hang it there.
Okay, and then there's a story behind those guys right there.
And zip ties?
He doesn't cut off the zip ties, and it's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, because this is, well, it's my sun visor. And everybody at the track gives me crap about not cutting my zip ties. Because, I don't know, they think I stare at them while I'm racing. And I told them that if I'm busy staring at those, I'm not driving anyway, so. And I kind of leave them now just to annoy everybody as a joke.
Yeah, and it's a huge pet peeve to me because you can go into his car and you can see, well, the white ones, those are reusable, but those ones, they could be cut off. So I think it's pretty funny. Anyways, it's a great car.
Well, then if they're cut, you can cut yourself on them a lot easier. And if they're long, you don't cut yourself on them. See, I ain't gonna cut myself on this.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
But
They
if
do
it's
have
short,
sharper edges.
yeah.
Yeah. So Chad had some damage. We're in the winter season now. He had this piece on his car. He's kind of going to explain to us what he's actually fixing. So give it away, Chart.
So this lower door bar was damaged and bent. And this one was damaged and bent. Actually, this one. And I wanted to find a better way to make it easier and faster to replace. So I'm kind of changing the way it's mounted. And this one is for safety reasons, so I'm going to have to like cut this tube and sleeve it in here and weld it in. And then reattach the plate that goes here.
Okay, and what's that plate?
Door plate that protects the driver door, or protects the driver. This is kind of required for us to have, so we don't, get hit by debris or whatever. It's just more protection for us.
So that's what he's working on in the winter time right now.
Please like, comment, and share, and please subscribe to the channel.